Okay, hello everyone. Thank you for joining us today as we get an inside look at the new features Rentec Direct has introduced during this first half of 2025. We thought it would be fun to give you a mid-year feature check-in, giving you a glimpse of what's new from the development team here at Rentec Direct. My name is Casey Miller, and I'm joined today by Shay Lindberg, one of Rentec Direct's product advisors. How's it going today, Shay?
Hey, good morning. Great.
So, what's one of the unique things about Rentec is that we actually have all of our staff works in house today. So, I get to see Shay every day. We're one of the few property management software companies that has everyone work for us. All of our support team is US based, and we all get to work together in our Grants Pass based office. So it's time to learn about some of the new features in Rentec software. All of Rentec's features are designed with you in mind. We want our clients to have access to tools that save them time, make your operational processes more efficient, and gives you the freedom to confidently delegate tasks, automate your workflow, and grow your business. So whether you're a longtime client or just getting to know our software, this session is all about giving you a behind the scenes look at the tools and updates designed to make your property management experience more intuitive and hopefully a little bit easier. Our team has been hard at work this year building features based directly on your feedback. So today we'll be walking through these updates that can improve communication, streamline operations, and give you even more control over your daily tasks. Some of the highlights include Rentec Direct's new certified mailing manager, biweekly payment scheduling, custom portal messages, and work order messaging and enhancements. And that's just some of the start. So we're going to cover these tools, how to use them, and how they fit into your existing workflow. So, as I already mentioned, my name is Casey. I'm one of the owners of Rentec Direct, and I work on the operations and marketing side of the company. You'll see my name pop up on articles on the Rentec Direct blog and other industry websites. And I love sharing educational content like best practices for tenant retention or filling vacancies. And I get to come up with ideas for videos, webinars, and other ways to connect with our clients and our community. You're also hearing from Shay today. She's one of our product advisors, helping clients learn all of the features available to them and ensure their accounts are set up and ready to roll. She's also the host of our weekly Getting Started webinar training series, which is typically every Wednesday. Shay and I have worked together at Rentec for 7 years. She knows the software extremely well and is always eager to build relationships with our clients to help them love their software. And behind the scenes today, I kind of mentioned we have Catherine joining us in the background. I think almost every Rentec client is familiar with Catherine. She's kind of our go-to property management accounting expert. And as a former property manager, she has one of the best comprehensions of the industry's best practices. So Catherine works really close with our development team to ensure new features are practical and usable for clients before they go to market. So Catherine's going to be answering your questions as they come in and letting us know when it's time to answer some of them live. Type your questions throughout the webinar. We'll do our best to answer them. I'm going to save some time at the end of Shay's presentation to answer the questions live. And if there's any questions we don't get to, we'll absolutely follow up with you personally to make sure that you get the answers you're looking for. Okay, so to kick us off, I want to say thank you again to everyone who's attending live and also give a huge thank you to all of our clients. We are extremely grateful for you, and it's thanks to you that Rentec has seen the sustainability and experienced such longevity as a software company. Rentec was first developed in 2007, and we've even had a few clients who have been with us since those early days. So I want to recognize, we'll do a little anonymity, but our client number 77, who joined Rentec in 2008, and client number 110, who joined Rentec in 2009. So that's almost 20 years of Rentec commitment, which is so awesome. Thank you. And thanks again to all of our clients who have been with us over the years. And for those of you just getting started with Rentec, we look forward to a great relationship with you. So as we go into talking about new features in 2025, I thought I would share with you some stats from the development team. So far in 2025, there have been 227 system updates, and 51 of those were specifically listed as enhancements. So when we think about a feature, there's feature updates, there's new features, there's system enhancements, and then there's always going to be little minor tweaks throughout the year. So the development team is always working on something to make sure that you guys have the best experience using the software. And we always value client feedback. So if you have an idea, even throughout this webinar, make sure to put it in the questions tab because we'll take comments as well. And then you're always welcome to email us or give us a call with any ideas about how you think the software could be better. So, but right now we're going to talk about what is already in the software, some of the new features that are going to help you. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Shay to take it from here.
Thanks. So I'm going to start out by talking about one of my favorite new features, which is the new and improved work orders. So with the new work orders, you're able to message directly through the work order platform, as well as add files, um, use templates, which is great, and send text messages. So the new enhancements, they expand the possibility of sharing information via email, just giving you a little bit more control over the communication and the process within the work order. So I'm here in my Rentec um, software now, and we're just going to go ahead and click on work order here. One of my tenants here put in a work order, so we're just going to take a look at it. So we can click here to view it, or we can go ahead and click here to edit it. So we'll look at this particular work order, and we've added some templates to this work order. These are customizable, but we've already pre-filled some of the information. So you can go into your settings and your message templates to alter the message that's going out to your tenants, your owners, or your vendors through this particular model. But for now, we're just going to go ahead and we're going to look at what we have currently. So if we wanted to message the owner, let's say, we can click here and our template would be right here. So we can do the work order template, and we've got this. We've received the request, and we're going to go ahead and let her know that we are going to be in touch ASAP to make sure that this gets completed. So this is just a summary here of what happened. What she was stating in the work order is that a storm came through and caused a tree to fall on her house. It broke her roof and her windows in her living room, and she let us know that we could come over because she's staying out of town and the damage needs to be fixed ASAP. So we can choose to go ahead and send that message to the tenant, and then we can always go back and look at this work order. So we are going to assign, we're going to say this is a work in progress, and we have the ability to add a file to this. We can also add a note, which is great. So we can say that our tenant can view it, our owner can view it, and then we can put in a note as well. So we'll put in a note. We're collecting bids for service. So we can say this is a public note, so it's going to be shared with both the tenant and the owner. So we can save this note, and then we're going to choose a file. So the file that I'm going to choose is in my downloads here, and I've got my invoice. So this is an invoice for a vendor that came out and checked out the property. He quoted it as $48,000, which is pretty expensive. So we are going to keep looking, but so far we've got this vendor who was available to check it out. We can say email our maintenance manager, include the files so that maintenance manager is getting all of these files right here. Okay, once we've done that, we can actually save that. So from there, this work order stays relevant. We're going to still see that we have a work order here until we say that this work order has been completed. So it'll keep it up here, work in progress. It'll continue to email out to Iona to let her know that it is a work in progress. We'll use our templates to make sure that she stays in the know about that. If we go back in here, we can actually click message. If we had an owner, we could email or I'm sorry, if we had a vendor, we could email the vendor. But for now, we can either text or email here. So let's say we're going to text our owner. This is our work order. We can do our work order request text here, and that's going to let them know that we did receive that information as well. Like I said, under settings, we'll go back into this area here just a little bit, but under settings, we have our message templates, and these templates here, they can be altered. So this is the email. You can change the wording, you can add a header, you can add your signature, whatever you want to do with this here. But the basic bones are within the email, and it's a great email to send out to them. So that's about it for our work order enhancement. We have added the ability for you to email and text directly from the work order to all parties involved. So that would be vendors, owners, and tenants, as well as add that message that goes out. So that's another communication step. And then those would be emailed back into you, those responses and things like that.
Yeah, one of the things I love about that is that you're not having to review a work order, remember it, and then go into the messaging platform or go into your personal email to then connect to a tenant. You can just open up that work order and directly be able to message your tenants, your vendors, your owners, and just save those little few steps and make sure that you're messaging the right person and you're connecting to the right work order and getting it done right away. Thanks for sharing that, Shay.
Yeah, absolutely.
And all of those message will be automatically stored in the software, which is another added convenience for remembering what you've connected to and who you've chatted with. What do you have next for us? You might be muted, Shay.
The benefits of doing a live demo, right? So next I do have some information about the new Mailing Wizard tool. Some of you may have been using it in Rentec Labs, which is where we put our beta um, products. And a lot of you had good feedback for this. The Mailing Wizard itself is a tool that you can use to email out certified letters and other information to tenants and owners. And it allows for you to basically simplify the process of going to the post office to get these letters out. So I'm going to show you how easy that is. So here under tenants, we've actually changed the name. It was Mailing Wizard. It's now Mailing Manager. And templates are available to you. I've created some templates myself based on 30 days, 60 days, lease renewal, or a welcome letter. Some people like to send that via mail, especially if they have changed hands, like their property management company has been bought out, or um, maybe they've taken a new property manager on. So that's a nice option. I'm going to go ahead and use my 30-day template here. I need to put in my recipient. So let's see. We'll put her in. So once we put her in, the information here, just like the lease forms that we had or the lease builder, it automatically fills that information from tenants, properties, owners, property managers, etc., in those data fields to ensure that all the information there is correct. So tracking, receiving status, all of that is going to be within this mailing manager, as well as just a full trail of who this went to. So if we were to click where it says print, this is a little tip you can use to view the letter and see exactly how it's going to look before you send it. I've added my signature down here. Very simple. I just did a copy and paste photo of my signature. So that's something that you guys can add as well. I've seen people put in their logo within this, but this is what it would look like. It is set to fit in one of those clear window mailing envelopes. And like I said, the great thing is it'll mail notices and letters. You're going to be able to track the delivery of any certified notices or letters. And then, of course, you can receive confirmation of these notices and letters. So you can see that they have received them. So if we were to click send letter, we get these options here, and it tells us how much it is per page and when the letter will be delivered. And as soon as we actually put in our order, it's going to give us a tracking number. So once it's processed, that tracking number is going to pop up right here. We can also preview the letter that we sent out. There it is again. And this whole process, just like, you know, all of the requests that we've had, this whole process is going to be tracked and recorded so that you're able to look back on it and keep accurate records and copies of correspondence. Um, this will actually save in the file library as well. So you're able to go back and take a look at any forms or letters that you had sent out. This works on the same message template platform that the rest of our email messages templates, text message templates, automated message templates all go out of. So you'll find the ability to create those within the message templates option under settings. So the reason that I like it so much is, like I said, it auto populates, and it'll also allow for you to send to multiple tenants. So say you have multiple tenants who are past due on their rent, you can click through all of them and you can send a letter out to all of them. It's also stored in the file library. So once you have that in the file library, you've got the option there to share it with your tenant as well. So they can see that digitally too. So say they did have a lease renewal that you sent out via mail. Um, you can also put that in that file library so they can reflect on that.
One of the great things about this new edition of the mailing manager is that it can help you meet compliance requirements. So, for
Mhm.
instance, Washington just this week passed a new law that requires landlords and property managers to send certain notifications to tenants via certified mail. So, this can help you make sure that you are already meeting those compliance requirements for new laws that are passed in your state. And oftentimes, what happens is when one state introduces a new landlord tenant law, other states can be soon to follow. But it's also best practices to show that you are sending certified mail, that you do have proof of delivery, and it can reduce conflicts with any of your tenants.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you remember a few years ago when they were saying that mail was dead? Everyone wanted things digitally, and now it seems like we're backpedaling on that. And we're like, no, no, no. Let's send them certified mail.
Well, there is, like, of course, as a software company, we love the convenience of digital use and digital communication, but especially in our industry with landlords and property management, having that real physical copy, like, you cannot deny that this was delivered versus emails or something that could get lost in different filters and email clients and stuff like that. So,
Hmm. I think it's great. I just love mail. Love opening it. So before we get too far away from it, I do have a couple more features. The next one that I want to talk about is customizing your welcome message template. So this came up because we have some clients who don't use it in a traditional tenant sense. And so the welcome letter just didn't fit the language of their company. Um, so we did make it a little bit more user friendly in the fact that they can now create a template that they would like to use for their tenants, regardless of what sort of business their tenants have or what kind of rental they offer. So the purpose of it is just to make sure that everyone has a unique experience within Rentec and that they can make Rentec exactly as they want to see it. So in order to create those changes, um, we're going to the summary page. Sorry, we're going to the settings page. Settings. If you click this little drop down menu right here, you actually have the ability to fast track where you're going. So we're going to go to program, and that's where we're going to find message templates. So this is where we keep our message templates for emails and text messages. like I had said earlier, this really is where we store all of those communication templates. So this is going to be used not only for emails and text messages, but also that mailing wizard. Those forms are going to be stored in here as well. So when we click in here, we have the opportunity to create a brand new template, or we can go ahead and change the emails that have been put in by Rentec. You can tell the difference here between the ones that were default and the ones that I created, because you'll have this little trash can next to the ones that you personally create. So you'll see all of the creations here from my personal um, demos and need for a client example, and then these from directly from what Nathan has written into the program. So the one that we're looking at today is this email right here. So in the past, you had seen that the tenant email was just a little bit flat. It just had a couple of lines in there, their username and password, and then of course the tenant button. I've added a couple of things here and I will show you what the difference is. I've also added my support information. So if my tenant needs to reach out to me, they're able to do that with an email and a phone number, just so that they always have that on file. So in the past, this is what our tenant login or tenant welcome information looked like. And this information is what goes out to them from their setup under their tenant profile. So you would go to their tenant, you would click edit tenant, and then you would scroll on down to the tenant portal information. That's where you would enable that portal, give them their password, and this email would go out to them. Very basic. Pleased to inform you that you've set up with Rentec Direct, providing quick access to your information. So there's a username, there's a password, and then portal access. We also give them the option to add a an app to their phone from the App Store. So this is the old one. And then I just made a couple improvements on this one. I wanted the information here to be the same, but just a little bit jazzier. So we're excited. I'm excited to let you know that I use Rentec and I want you to use the portal because there is ease in this portal. It's secure. So it's convenient. You can log in, you can make rent payments. I let you know for security that you should update your password when you first log in, and then where you're going to go to that. I've bolded settings, just so that they know, your eye is drawn to text that looks a little different. So made sure to bold that. I gave them the ability to download the app, let them know that it is free, and if they needed help, they could reach me here. So all of this it's the same information. I've just sort of made it a little bit different. So again, under settings and then program, you click that message template option, and you can choose whether you want this to be edited for the tenant or for the owner. Both are there and available for you for that. But you're able to customize it. There is a customization bar here at the top, and you can change the color. If you want this whole thing to be lime green and pink, you can do that. It's there for you. You're able to make changes and alter that information. The other thing that you could do is change the alignment. You can put in links or other data. You can even put in another data field if you needed to. So maybe you did want to give them some additional information like rent due date or rent balance. That's available for them as well. The one thing that we do suggest that you not do is change these data fields here, because these are what prompt the system to give them that specific information. So username and temporary password. So once you've done all of that, you just go ahead and save the changes, and that's going to be put in as your template. So that one's great. I really like that one.
And as you're looking at those examples of templates in your template library under settings, they are the ones that are system generated. They're labeled the tenant login information is what the template is called. And then the other one is called owner portal access. And then of course you can create your own, you can edit that one, or you can create your own new one. So that's why Shay might have hers listed differently, but in like the default settings that you should see. But if you ever can't see any of these templates, just follow up with us because we always want to make sure you're finding the right information, even if they've been edited on our end to be something different. But I love even that little emoji that you added to your template for welcoming a tenant to their tenant portal is so fun and definitely more eye engaging than the system generated ones that we created 15 years ago. So it's a
Yeah, it
great way
just
to
looks like a
connect.
party.
It's a party being one of your tenants.
That's right. All right, so I have one more thing um, that I'm going to talk about here. And let me see, that would be the bi-weekly rent payments. So we've had a lot of requests for bi-weekly rent payments. And the reason why is because there's a lot of employers that do bi-weekly paychecks. And so a lot of tenants find it easier to just pay bi-weekly. Some will, save money from the end of the month and then pay it all in the beginning of the month. And some landlords do want to simplify the process for them and just allow for them to pay biweekly. So within the settings, you can schedule biweekly payments in addition to the monthly and weekly payments that you would typically see. And the way that you would do that is when you move a tenant in, you actually can choose, let's place a tenant here. You actually can choose a biweekly option for that tenant. And while you're in settings, you can create a biweekly option for their automatic payments. So you would choose biweekly when you're moving them in. And then after you've moved them in, under tenants here, we'll go back to Iona. Within her online payments, you actually could choose frequency of biweekly. So these would then be charged, these tenants would be automatically charged biweekly. You can choose the interval day. So let's say this tenant gets paid on Thursdays and their next payday is tomorrow. So you could say tomorrow you're going to pull this account balance, 500, from this tenant, and then from there on out, every other Thursday on a biweekly status. So from what I've heard, there is a benefit to it where sometimes you get a free week at the end of the year. Um, I don't know how calendars work that way, but there is a option for that. There's some, I guess, months that have an extra week, so 5 weeks instead of 4. Um, so that's how it balances out. But a lot of people have really been loving this option. So simple to enact. Um, it improves rent collection and reliability. I know that it will promote a lot less late fees because people are paying when they have the money available to them instead of on a strange schedule where maybe they don't have the money or something might have happened or come up. Um, so really it's a win because both parties will be aware of the balance and it's going to be less of a strain on some people.
And are you able to connect late fees with these biweekly payments as well?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So that would be under your settings. Within settings, under account defaults, you can actually create particular late fees. Um, and that has to do with the default number of days to create the late fees. So if the if they're moving in and it is biweekly, you would want to set the charge within to the number of days that you want to start the late fees after that particular charge. So it'll just depend on what your scheduling is.
Excellent. And then are tenants able to set up automated payments for a biweekly payment schedule in their tenant portal?
Yes, they will be able to set those up. Yep.
Excellent. So not even, like Shay mentioned, biweekly payments can reduce late fees, but it's been proven over the years that automated payments absolutely reduce late fees. So that's another way to ensure that you're receiving your funds on time and increasing your rental income and reducing that financial strain that some of your tenants might have if they're getting paid biweekly. And that's the best way they figured out to budget.
Absolutely. And I will say that I love automated payments. I never forget to pay a bill. It's always just done.
Yes, definitely. Those automated payments are amazing. Okay, so we just touched base on some of the features that have already been released in 2025. I see a lot of questions that have come in, so we'll try to address some of those as we in just a bit. But I also wanted to share a little bit about what's coming in the and like currently in the development like docket, like actively being worked on. One of the tools is using an AI to help automate receipts and inputting them into the software automatically. We're working on some renters insurance compliance to ensure that your renters who say that they have renters insurance, making sure that their policies stay up to date, and if they're not, helping you enforce your renters insurance requirements. Same with property protection for rental properties and working with a landlord insurance integration to make sure that you can have your properties be the most protected with the right insurance. This is true for our landlord, owner, operator clients, and then also for property managers who want to make sure that their owner clients are protecting their properties. We're also working on automating payments against invoices and some great improvements to the bank reconciliation. So just a little, kind of a teaser for what that AI receipt scanner will look like. So this is an example so this is a feature that Nathan Miller, our owner and founder, is actively working on because he's so excited about the technology. Um, and so this on the left of your screen is a paper invoice. Like if a vendor was like, here's what I did, there you go, now go and take it. And just taking a picture of this and it will automatically read your written receipt or a typed up receipt invoice, and then input that information into the software. So reducing human error. It's something that you can look at and be like, okay, is that the right number? Did the receipt scanner read it correctly? But it's looking really good. We're all very excited about this to help automate and reduce human error and make inputting receipts so much more efficient. And I kind of bring it back to like that was one of the reasons Rentec was started in the beginning is because Nathan hated doing the receipts and the bookkeeping and collecting receipts and then inputting them into his spreadsheets. And so now almost 20 years later, there's even more tools to make that process more efficient, and we're excited to share them with you soon. And then all of these features that we talked about today, and then ones that are going to be coming, these always get updated on the Rentec Direct blog, but you have direct access to those updates on the summary page of your software. So just where that arrow is showing, it's under system updates. That's always where we update, provide the direct link to our blog that talks about the new features, what they are, how they benefit you, and then how to use them in your software. So always check that out. And then if you miss anything or if you want more information, you can always reach out to your success team to be like, hey, I saw that there's a new feature to remove a property listing or property from an online listing when moving in a tenant. Can you tell me more about that? We love having these connections with our clients. And of course, we want to show you how to use new features. So that's something that is always available to you. We've always have such a great time connecting with our clients and talking with you. Shay, thank you for your time going over the software and the features. And Catherine, of course, thank you for being there to help answer the questions. If you guys think of any follow-up questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. You can always reach us at those contact informations that I shared before. And I'll throw them up one more time. And thank you so much. And we look forward to continuing to serve you and work together and have a great time being the best landlords and property managers and investors we can be.